And so you've got this 80-year saculum, approximately 80-year saculum, with 4 seasons of approximately 20 years, with 4 different generational archetypes that are born and take on these characteristics and traits based on the world events around them and how they are treated based on these world events, whether or not they're treated as precious, whether or not they're treated as inconvenient, whether or not they are told that they're supposed to save the world, whether or not they're told to be quiet and obey. They each get these sort of traits of the generation that show up, and each one of them must be represented, right? Every single one of these generations comes with an incredibly important place in society and reminder to everybody. But what ends up happening is, just like in personality types, we end up clashing. We end up having infighting. We end up going, no, my generational ethos is the one that we're supposed to be paying attention to, not yours, forgetting that they all need to be represented. Now, we mentioned that there are certain places that these generations end up. We mentioned how there's not a lot of Gen Xers in politics. Well, right now, there's actually a lot of Gen Xers in politics, very unusually for this time period. But right now, because we're at that age, right? Xers are now in midlife, and that's the age you enter politics if you're going to oftentimes or get influence. So right now, there's a lot of influence of Gen Xers in politics. But traditionally, we're the ones who steward technology and industry. There are right now heroes that are in tech, right? But generally, they're the ones who steward culture, right? The heroism and the morale and the cultural piece of not artistic culture, but like the zeitgeist, right? What kind of people do we want to be? How are we going to go fight the wars that are important to fight? There are going to be artists that enter tech and industry and politics, but they are generally stewards of the artistic cultural influence. So there's always going to be exceptions to the rules, and there's always going to be somebody who's like, I don't identify with my culture. Of course you don't, 100%, nobody does. But there are certain things that we end up becoming stewards of based on those messages we get during those time periods in our lives. And interestingly enough, we've been here before. Carl Sagan's like, we've been here before and we'll be here again, right? And it's nice to know that we're not alone. We're part of a spiral of cycles of archetypal energies and seasons and time periods and patterns where we've been here before. We've been this way before and we'll go this way again. And it's just a time period of doing our part to steward what is important to us culturally and characteristically in our traits to get to the other side of this time period of secular crisis.